It's great to be with you once again as we look forward to providing these short videos that will contain lots of encouragement for us during this time. We are not able to do certain things in the way we used to, even though things seem to be getting somewhat better. We're just thankful to God for all of that and for watching over us and taking care of us. But, of course, this channel, we want you to continue to share it with others. And for those of you who may not have already subscribe to the channel. We hope to bring a lot more things for you via this medium. And of course, different types of educational and inspirational programs as well that we can all benefit from. As we look towards another short, 5-set or 5-part, as we say, we have looked at, golden nuggets from the book of Philippians, and we focus there on the different mindsets that are very important if we are going to really navigate through this life with any degree of success. And then, of course, we looked at turning our trials into triumphs. So we looked at different important perspectives that we see in a progressive way as we attempt to turn the trials that bring testings upon us and can even push us to the point of, becoming tempted to do certain things that we shouldn't. So trials are part of life, and we all face them from one time to another. Even people who have all the necessities of life, so to speak, will tell you that sometimes they will trade some of those to just have a little peace of mind, to be able to relax and not have to be so worried about things. But now we are going to kind of stay focused with regards to what we need, and that is, we need to make sure we do not lose hope. Very important. A study was done years ago in the prison, not in Trinidad. We don't have much of those done over here. But in that study, they found out that those prisoners who maintained a positive attitude and believed that they would get out and were looking forward to getting out of prison actually lived longer. They lasted longer. While those who felt hopeless and didn't think that anything would change for them to be better, they tend to get sick faster, and some of them even died, before they could serve out their term, etc. So what that is saying to us too is that we live in a world where there's a lot of things around us that could make us feel hopeless. We are trying hard to achieve something. For some people, they want a better job, but they seem to be tied down here and they can't get the kind of advancement that they want for a number of reasons. And everything they seem to try, they find that they meet with a block. So it's easy to allow a feeling of hopelessness to overtake us. And when we get into that state where you really feel hopeless, I don't want to think about that too much, but there are times when I felt a little bit like that, but I quickly had to dispel that because it's not a good feeling to have, as though nothing will change, nothing can get better. Hope keeps a man alive. It helps you to have something for which to look forward. And if you have nothing in life for which to look forward, then one can see how easily a person can feel this sense of hopelessness. But I want to entitle this short video series, Finding the Hope in Hopeless. For in hopeless, there is hope. There's H-O-P-E, if you take out the L-E-S-S. So we want to find the hope in hopeless. And I want to take each of those letters in the word hope and to help us to see something that we have. If you are a child of God, that is, I want you to understand that every child of God should have reason to hope, should have a hope, because that hope is given to us if we come to Christ. Now, for somebody who may not believe in God, let's say there are people who don't believe in God, so they look towards this life for everything. They look towards solving all their problems here. They look towards getting everything that they want or they need in this life right here. And you know the way things work. This is not a place where things always go smoothly. So it could be very, very easy for people to feel a sense of hopelessness if really you don't have God in your life. How such people navigate, they can probably tell you, and that's why they sometimes do things to hurt other people just to not feel hopeless. Or they do things, that just try to give them a good feeling at the moment, but deep inside, something is missing. So our first consideration of the hope in hopeless is for us to understand that we are heirs of God. Heirs of God. For those people who, perhaps young people who have a family, parents, mother and father, if you have parents who are wealthy, who have succeeded in life and who have accumulated a fair amount of wealth, the children are the heirs of that family. And sometimes some of those children, realizing that my parents are wealthy, so when they die, I will have a big inheritance. And they look forward to that inheritance. They understand what it means to be heirs in that family. It tells them that they have a right to certain things in the family, and they will have that benefit. And so if their parents are well off, they have that benefit. So if we are heirs of God, we have to think of who God is. Is God a capable parent? Is God a father who has much? And therefore, those who are his children can look forward to be benefiting from all that he has. Well, God is the owner of everything. And in Romans the 8th chapter, the Apostle Paul writes in this chapter, a very, very important chapter, which helps us to understand a contrast between the spiritual and the physical. A contrast between being fleshly minded or a mindset of physical gratification in contrast to the spiritually minded, a mind that focuses on the things of God. And so in the 8th chapter, Paul will make some of those contrasts. He talks about the law of the spirit of life, and he talks about the law of sin and death. He shows us that sin brings death, but the spirit brings life. So to focus on the spiritual is critical. It's very important to understand. So in 8:16 to 18, Paul says, "The Spirit himself bears witness with our spirit that we are children of God. And if children, heirs also, heirs of God, and fellow heirs with Christ, if indeed we suffer with him, in order that we may also be glorified with him." So Paul establishes that as heirs of God, we are in line for the inheritance, whatever God has. But then he says, we are joint heirs with Christ. That means that whatever will be Christ is also ours. Because we are joint heirs, like joint partners, joint owners. They both own and they have a share in. So if we are joint heirs with Christ, it means that whatever is Christ's will also be ours. And that lays the foundation for us understanding why it is that there is hope in situations that may seem hopeless. Don't allow hopeless situations to make you feel there's no hope. That's the devil's ploy, to create situations to make us feel hopeless, so we lose sight of any hope in the hopeless. But I want you to pull and realize that you are a child of God if you're a Christian. You are an heir of God, but you are also a joint heir with Christ, and that's important. In the next lesson, we are going to focus on the fact that we have open access to the throne of God, and that as an heir of Christ also. So the thoughts will run one into the next to help us to understand, to see the sum total of our hope. Until we join you next time, don't forget, subscribe, share with others. Until then, I am Heirs Biswanath. God bless you.